I've had to really ask God to reveal things that are open doors that I might not think about. There's a lot of shows that I now don't allow for my children that I watched growing up. Scooby-Doo, too many different monsters and magic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anything like zodiac related, Capricorns, that all that stuff opens doors to demons. A lot of the stuff that you've shared, are open portals, witchcraft, psychics. Those are huge ones. Alcohol, drugs. So again, ways that demons enter is they normally have a legal right to be there. So not obeying God opens a door to evil, and that's in Ephesians 2, verse 2. So that would be an act of sin. Family doors, such as physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, rejection from the womb, which I kind of talked about, as far as like a mom saying, I don't want to be pregnant, I'd rather have a boy or a girl, whatever it is. Generational curses. So a generational curse that I've learned about, that my mom warned me because of my great-grandparents, was participating in Halloween. And I've heard that you can be cursed for up to, I believe it's 7 generations.
Wow.
So it's a really long curse. Let's see, traumatic pregnancy or a birth accident. So you didn't plan to go in for a C-section. It became an emergency C-section. That was traumatic for you. Traumatic pregnancy or a birth incident. That would be that. Confusion due to a divorce. Word curses that parents speak over their children. So saying you're stupid or you're putting down, because the tongue cuts, right? That's the sword.
Yeah.
And as far as it goes for saying Satan, it also can slay other people. So when you're speaking negative things over people, they become those things. You're so angry, you're just like your father, stuff like that. Trauma as far as car accidents, surgeries, burglaries, again, sex or rape or molestation, occult practices, pledges, oaths, vows, ceremonies, horoscopes, fortune telling, or fortune cookies even. Like that to me was like, oh my gosh,
Oh no, not the fortune cookies.
Right? Then you have blood oaths, hypnosis, handwriting analysis. So a lot of people a few years ago, I think, it became really cool to tell me about my personality based off of the way I write. I actually read a book on it because I thought it was really cool. They were saying that you could tell if someone was a serial killer based off of their writing. And so I'm guilty of that one. I thought it was totally harmless.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you write automatically, you could be asleep and writing.
Yeah.
That can be a demon controlling you. Something that I thought that was totally there's no way. Frat houses and sororities, you're basically in an under oath with them, right? That there is an open door. Not that, again, these aren't things that you're guaranteed to get a demon, but they're open doors.
Yeah.
So it might not always occur, but it again allows them. Here we go. Astrology, yoga, Ouija board, levitation games, magic 8 balls, books of magics or spells, rainbow girls, and again, the frats or sororities.
Can you explain that one a little bit? Because I guess I was never in one to know 100%, but you make an oath, and this can be is it because of its idolatry?
I think because you're pledging into it, right? You have to have somebody who brings you into it. I even think the Freemason, stuff like that. Those are, you all pledge to something. And I believe in the Bible. I don't know off the top of my head right now where it's found, but you're not supposed to swear on anything of the heavens or the earth. And so I think that's kind of more so, on the, you swear on the Bible or you swear on something. That's, I think, where the problem comes in.
Okay.
Any cursed items. So if you've received, voodoo dolls, necklaces, those little eyeball necklaces.
The evil eye?
Yeah, those.
Yeah, I know. Red flag.
Yeah, so cursed items like that somebody who is either a witch, if you had something that a friend gave you from that timehood of your life, there can be demons tied to that.
That's a really good point. When I was first saved and I felt the urge to throw away all my stuff, I remember like I was so convicted of my sin around this point, and I just started questioning like how did I let a demon into my life? And so I started looking at everything, and I was like, it's everything. It's the drugs, it's the books, the Gnostic, the psychic, it's
Yep.
all these books. And then I threw all this stuff away, and there was one thing I forgot, and it was a Medusa statue that I kept on my nightstand, and I still felt like an evil presence in my apartment. And then I realized this Medusa statue I had brought with me to all of these witchcraft circles.
Yep.
So I'm sure it was filled with demons, and I didn't even realize that like I had been bowing down to that until retrospect.
Yeah. I mean, and again, there's going to be things where you're going to go, oh my gosh, like, is this it? And I wouldn't say panic or worry about it. God will reveal it to you, right? Just pray and ask, like, go into each room and say, God, reveal to me in this room what I should not have, you know? And there's going to be things that you're like, really? That, as far as like, for me, pictures of exes,
Mm.
that's a soul tie, right? If you've had a bad relationship, a sexually immoral relationship with that person, but you're going to hold on to that picture, and it you feel something when you look at it. That right there could be not just an item that's cursed, but a soul tie as well.
Oh wow.
Um,
Good.
that leads me to my next one, which is soul ties. And again, that comes from bad relationships, whether you were abused in those relationships, whether you were sleeping with them before you were married. There's all kinds of things that you'll get like a spiritual spouse from, right? That's
Yeah.
a big.
Can you explain that a little bit? Because I feel like I experienced a spiritual spouse. It was in like the most ungodly relationship I was in. It's the guy I saw a demon in. He was married. It was before I came to Christ. And the demon that I saw in him, I felt like that demon like wanted me sexually. And I
Yeah.
did that's when I started to be curious, like, okay, what is this? Like, was this demon trying to like lay claim to me or something?
So spiritual spouse, basically you can in your dreams be approached, right, to try to sleep with that person in your dreams. That's more of like a more relaxed one. And then the other one is if you've ever had sleep paralysis,
Yeah.
chances are that is like your spiritual spouse. So like I've had it where I've been attacked in a dream, but I've gone, no, I'm not going to have this dream, and tried to wake up, and then being like laid on top of, like feeling like my mouth is covered where I can't say anything, even though I'm trying to say Jesus, 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 like to get it off of me.
Yeah.
And that actually happened when I first tried to do like self deliverance on myself, like that same night of praying and praying and praying to do self deliverance. That night I went to sleep, and I had never had that before in my life, never had sleep paralysis or anything like that. Totally was like, who, who experiences that? Like, that's weird. And then had it where I could not move. I was pinned down to the bed. It felt like it was still trying to do things to me, right? Like
Yeah.
I, I curled up next to my husband and was like, you need to start praying with me
Yeah.
and pray over me. And like, this is what, and he's like, you need to stop. And I'm like, no, I feel led. I'm doing my self deliverance. Just pray for me. And like, don't think I'm crazy, basically, is how I.
Wow. I literally was talking to my husband last night. It's just crazy you said this because he hasn't seen the demons like I've seen the demons. And a show we watch, I know it's not godly. I know we shouldn't watch this show, but we watch The Walking Dead. So there's lots of zombies and monsters, and I know this could possibly open portals or whatever, but it gets us thinking a lot about just, and one of my last guests brought it up too, Traylin's podcast about a prophetic dream she had about just zombies all over the world and like them being like demons and demons just all over the world. And so this was just like on my mind before we went to bed. And I like looked at him and I'm like, you would know what to do though, right? Like you would know what to do if you did see something. And he's like, babe, you're just not trying to like talk about it. Like, why do we always have to? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
like, I need to know that you would know how to fight. I
Yeah.
was like, just say the name of Jesus, just start praying. And he's like,
Yep.
okay, okay.
So my husband is Catholic, and so when I did self deliverance the first time, I really did feel like a relief. And when he prayed with me, And I think a lot of that is coming into agreement, because when two or more are in agreement, right, that strengthens what you're asking for.
Yeah.
But then a little bit after that, I still was having, again, severe anger. Like, I feel like that one is the deepest down, or, in the basement of the house, if you will, because they talk about your soul as a house. But that one was really hard for me to get rid of. And I looked at my husband and I said, "You're going to think I'm crazy, but I need you to do deliverance on me. I need you to get this last one out." And I remember laying at the foot of our bed and looking at him, crying over me, and in my human thoughts going, "Thank God for my husband." But then the manifestation of demons, I'm looking at him and laughing like, "You can't do anything," you
Mm,
know? And
mm.
that was, it creeps me out, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people don't want self-deliverance or to do deliverance because they're like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna find all these demons in me."
Yeah.
And it's a fear and it's a grossness, but it's something that you shouldn't have. And I think a tactic of the devil is to keep you afraid of seeing what you have, shining a light there.